The song starts with some pink notes and a guitar, and with a tone somewhere between bourbon and tobacco juice. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Audiophiles. My name's John, his name's Andy.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Every bit of racism out of it. So every chance that I take it on the road. Those kilometers and the red lights, I was always looking left and right. More on that later. But first, we have a track to listen to today, and it is Andy's turn to offer up to the group. So, Andy, what have you got?
I got a little group here that I want to bring. Can't believe it's taken this long to get to them, but it's a band called Blackberry Smoke. Any familiarity with them? Have you ever heard of them before?
No, I don't believe I have.
Okay, well, I hope you
Quite a
enjoy the
nice,
Blackberry. Yeah, Blackberry
nice
Smoke.
name.
It is,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah. I think it's the name of a really good strain of marijuana, if I'm not mistaken. But with no, next to no memory left on account of it, I could be wrong. The track by Blackberry Smoke that I want you to check out is called "Sleeping Dogs." Now I know you have some familiarity with sleeping dogs, so please go off and give this track a spin, and let me know your thoughts.
Very nice start that. Yeah. You've got that lovely tone to that guitar that's sort of soaked in all these stereotypes of Southern rock. um, but yeah, and then in comes the drummer, and that sort of lovely, relaxed splashiness. It just for a minute, it just reminded me of Ringo on Abbey Road. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of other things that probably doesn't sounds like that, but that's what it reminded me of. Um, and then the rest of the lot coming. Let's do that again.
Well, I'm not trying to get in the way. Minding my own, got nothing to say about nobody. That's right, nobody. Don't shake my tree, don't rattle my cage. You and me will be on the same page. Got no trouble, don't make no trouble. Yeah, you best let a sleeping dog lie, 'cause soon you come to understand why. Hey, you're gonna get bit right between the eyes. Well, let me tell you how it all.
Excellent. So, your man comes in, and it's all sounding great. Not unlike a certain band that had problems with air travel. Leave it like that. Yeah, really nice. And from the verse, we're getting, his voice is exactly as you'd expect for this kind of genre. Um, I'm not saying it's in an immediate family, but he definitely knows somebody called Cletus. Um, and yeah, so the overall thing is that it seems he is the sleeping dog from the title. And basically, you know, he's he's a finisher, not a starter. So don't shake his tree or rattle his cage. Yeah, how interesting. Um, Yeah, it sounds really good. And then went into something, I don't know, it was like a pre-chorus or something. But there's hints, I could hear it, of this electric organ, Hammond organ or whatever, just noodling in the background. Sounded great. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Went down, funky little joint on the edge of town called the Pines Pub. Oh, Wayne, it had too much. Well, push come to shove and we came to blows. Spilled some blood and I broke his nose. Yes, I had to do it. Mama, that's all there was to it. Now you better set a sleeping dog lie, 'cause soon you come to understand why. Hey, you're gonna get bit right between the eyes. Said you best let a sleeping dog lie.
So we've had the opening argument. Let's be easy, son. There'll be no trouble here. And then we get the scenario that it relates to. Funky little joint at the edge of town, I think he said. So I'm picturing like Roadhouse. And push comes to shove. Someone started it. Bit of blood spill, broken nose, no biggie. As luck would have it, the person he's explained it to, I don't know, the sheriff, arresting officer, or perhaps a circuit judge the next morning, happens to be his mum. So that's lucky, isn't it? I can't see him doing serious time with that. Yeah, that's all good stuff. And then we get, so that thing before was like a shortened version of the chorus. This must be the chorus that's come back in, just saying, they just get bit between the eyes if you wake the sleeping dog. But yeah, real big chords in the chorus. That organ sounds great. It really just elevates music like this. All music, R&B, acid jazz, 60s acid rock, even. The sort of Hammond organ sound is just wonderful. Really is. Excellent stuff. Okay. Let's just pull it back a wee bit. Let's get that chorus again.
Had to do it. Mama, that's all they was to it. Now you better set a sleeping dog lie, 'cause soon you come to understand why. Hey, you're gonna get bit right between the eyes. Said you best let a sleeping dog lie.
I think we've come to that. It's always that quiet bit in a song like this is the thinking part, and then you usually get like the moral and then a refrain. Yeah, that instrumental bits look wonderful, but it's just over a 3-minute song. This could have been a 4-minute song, and they could have extended that easily. That guitar was just sounded great, lovely tone to it, and then all the organ action. Oh, beautiful. Really nice. Just a bit too short. That's my only gripe. But, set my handy now, aren't I? So, yeah, let's crack on.
Make no mistake, let there be no doubt. Paint me in a corner, I fight my way out. The moral of the story, brother, this is it. I'll be all over you like steak on shit. Hey, you better let a sleeping dog lie. Soon you come to understand why. Hey, you're gonna get bit right between the eyes if you don't let a sleeping dog lie. You best let a sleeping dog lie, 'cause soon you come to understand why. Hey, you're gonna get bit right between the eyes. Said you best let a sleeping dog lie.
Yeah, too short. Loved it. I mean, there's nothing, sort of outstanding in its field or make me see this music in a new light, but it follows a well-trodden path extremely well, and it sounded great. So it's a welcome addition to my experience of this kind of music. Blackberry Smoke. Yeah, really enjoyable stuff. That sort of cod macho uh, uh, moral for the end for like a He-Man episode. Pay me in the corner and I'll come out fighting. Yeah, okay. Um, yeah, it's really fun, but I mean, for me, there's a lovely sound to it. You know, they all did a great job, but that organ is just beautiful. Really, really nice. So let's find out some more about Blackberry Smoke by going back to a man who knows. And that man is Andy.
All right, so you are back through the cloud of smoke. What did you make of Sleeping Dogs by Blackberry Smoke, John?
Yeah, overall, this sounds like proper Southern rock. I picture a band where they've got about 8 teeth between them and enough hair to stuff a three-piece sofa set. Um, but anyway, the song starts with some pick notes and a guitar and with a tone somewhere between bourbon and tobacco juice. In comes the bass and the drums via some nice cymbal splashes. And in fact, that entrance by the drummer, I had to stop and go back. It reminded me of sounded like Ringo on the
Mm.
Abbey Road album. That's the same sort of controlled splash. Really nice. So anyway, the groove's established, and it does seem a little reminiscent of a certain band that destined to have issues with powered flight. I'll leave it at that. Um, in comes your man singing, and I would say his voice is really fitting with the genre. Yeah, if not situated within his immediate family, he definitely knows somebody called Cletus.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, exactly. Who may or may not have dabbled in moonshine and the
yes.
distillation of, yeah.
So we're back to Justified again, aren't we? So yeah, there's a really nice bounce to the groove. That first verse, as he gently explains in terms of any possible contretemps, that our protagonist is more of a finisher than a starter, and it seems he is, by deduction, one of the titular somnambulant canines. So there he is, minding his own business, and he warns the listener not to shake his tree, presumably because he's just pissed a bit, and or rattle his cage. And I would assume anyone who's stupid enough to rattle the cage holding a sleeping dog would then, for an encore, try and give a coyote a back sack and crack waxing. Yeah. So we get what I learn is a shortened snatch of the chorus. And what always elevates this kind of song, any kind of song, is a fabulous organ. I don't know if it's branded Hammond or not, but it sounds wonderful. It just simply starts to dip its toes in here as an appetizer for coming in a bit fuller later. And now we get some context to our narration. It says something about a funky little joint on the edge of town is where it went down. I'm picturing a roadhouse scenario.
Yeah, a
Um,
roadhouse.
minus Swayze.
Yeah.
Anyway, he explains there was a little blood spilled and her nose was broken. Luckily, it seems that whoever our plucky protagonist is recounting this to, whether it's the arresting officer, sheriff, or perhaps a circuit judge the next morning, it happens to be his mama. What are the chances of that, eh? Very handy. So we now get a more full-blooded version of the chorus. It's full of these huge chords from said organ and quite expressive drums that are sort of busily bouncing along without going sort of all full Keith Moon nonsense on
Mhm.
it. Then, as I hoped it would, with a quick "come on, yeah," we enter a fabulous instrumental section. First, the guitar really sings, great tone to it, and then our friend the organ joins in with some lively action. Um, this it's only like 3:30. This song 3:20. And it could have been 420, and this section could have been expanded because it's criminally brief, but
And
it's
I
lovely. It is.
I can say that during the live iterations, they do jam out a bit. These guys have a bit of that jam band bone in them.
Yeah.
So when you get to see it live, yeah, all these songs timestamps are extended quite a bit. But yeah, you're right. It should have been done in the recording at least another 30 seconds. And if they wanted to do it for 3 more minutes live, knock yourself out. But
Yeah,
it
yeah.
wouldn't have killed them to make the song 4 or 4:15.
Yeah, it's lovely. So the guitar has a sort of really nice tone to it, and you could just imagine it going soaring off, and it
Yeah.
sadly doesn't. And then you get all these like huge chords and sort of bits from the organ. And for me, it always sounds a bit like it's like the musical version of Tetris in terms of these chords sort of put up shapes or platforms, as it were. They're building stuff around. Really, really nice. But anyway, it all quiets down, bit of thinking time, perhaps. And then we get the moral of the tale, just like at the end of He-Man, the Master of the Universe episode. Um, and basically, the message is if you put baby in a corner, sorry, wrong film. If you corner our hero, he will fight his way out. And there's some reference to the olfactory nature of feces. And at this point, we're left uncertain whether it is dog or human, but it definitely stinks.
Yes.
So just let sleeping dogs lie. And my recommendation would be jump him later outside when he's leaving the club.
Yeah, exactly.
So then we go to the big finish. So the chorus goes around the block twice. Huge organs, wow, fantastic. Yeah, and then it ends. This was a lot of fun. It was a great sound. It's not, breaking any barriers or whatever, but in terms of this kind of southern rock music, this is just done really well. It's
Yeah.
great fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I'm glad you did. And I would agree
would
with you.
be-
Go ahead.
I would be interested to know when this came out, whether it's because it sounds 70s, but it also sounds really well done. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was like, noughties or later.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that, but your niggling suspicions there will be prove fruitful because yes, you're cut to the chase. Yeah, they are more contemporary than they are of that 70s thread that a few of those, the Allman Brothers, Leonard Skinner, and so on and so forth. But you can tell that these guys listened to a shit ton of that stuff and that they filtered it and sort of regurgitated it with perfection. I mean, these guys are as talented as some of those bands and can write a song as craftfully as those bands from the same genre. So for that reason, it sounds less like this bastardized pastiche where, the more you duplicate something, the more, messed up and inbred it looks. This is actually like a perfect, pristine replication of that kind of sound. So, that's rare, as sad as that is. So
this could have come out in 1975 easily.
and killed it, right? And they could have been held up in the same standard as those aforementioned acts, which is why I like it so much because it sounds less like a bastardized version and more of like true inspiration from those acts. So yeah, Blackberry Smoke. They're an American country rock or southern rock band formed in Atlanta, Georgia in 2001. The lineup consists of lead vocalist and lead guitarist Charlie Starr, lead/rhythm guitarist Paul Jackson. Obviously, they switch from song to song over who's taking lead or rhythm. Bassist Richard Turner and keyboardist Brandon Still. Now, Richard's brother Britt Turner was the band's co-founder and drummer before his untimely death in 2024. So drumming duties have been covered during the band's tours since late 2023 by Atlanta drummer Kent Aberle, or Aberle. I'm not sure if he pronounces the E on the end of that or not. In 2018, they added touring members guitarist Benji Shanks and percussionist Preston Holcomb, with Holcomb retiring from touring in the spring of 24. They have released 8 studio albums, 2 live albums, and 5 EPs. Their debut album, Bad Luck Ain't No Crime, some of these names are just so perfect for this kind of sound. It was released in 2003, so 2 years after their sort of formation. Their second album was released 6 years later in 2009, I believe, Little Piece of Dixie. and it's been featured by Pace Magazine and other publications as well. The band had their first chart success with their third album, The Whippoorwill, released on in August of 2012, reaching top 40 on the Billboard 200. The album was released under the Southern Ground record label. On November 12th of 2014, they appeared, among many others, Jamie Johnson, Trace Atkins, Warren Haynes. How familiar are you, by the way, with Warren Haynes? I know we talked about him when we did some Dave Matthews stuff way back in the day, but have you listened to any of his other stuff? Man, fucking amazing Southern like rock blues guitarist. He also featured on their version of Cortez the Killer on that same live album from New and kills it on electric guitar, so definitely worth checking out. Peter Frampton, Greg Allman, etc. And they all collaborated in a show to pay tribute to Leonard Skinner, of all people, at the Fox Theater in Atlanta. In 2015, Blackberry Smoke became the first small independent outfit to have an album, Holding All the Roses, go #1 on the Billboard Country Albums chart. The band spent much of the summer of 2016 on tour with Government Mule, and it was before the release of Like an Arrow, which featured Greg Allman. The album landed at #1 on the US Billboard Country and Americana Folk charts, as well as the UK Rock and Independent Albums charts during its release week. The band released its sixth album, Find a Light, on December 19th of 2018. A year later, the band released via Earache Records a live album and film, Homecoming, live in Atlanta, recorded at their annual Brothers and Sisters Holiday Homecoming event at the Tabernacle in Atlanta in November of 2018. On May 28th of 2021, their album You Hear Georgia was released. It debuted at #1 on the Billboard Americana Folks chart. It sold over 33,000 copies in the first week, over 12,000 copies in pure album sales. This was good enough to put it also at #1 in the album sales in both country and rock, and #3 in all of music. The album also racked up another nearly 1 million streams its debut week. The album was produced by David Cobb and also features appearances by Jamie Johnson and the aforementioned Warren Haynes. Sadly, and as I alluded to earlier, in March of 2024, the band announced drummer Britt Turner had died after a battle of glioblastoma. He was 57 years old and was diagnosed with cancer in 2022. So just 2 years after his diagnosis, he left this mortal earth. This track, Sleeping Dogs, that I had you listen to today, was featured on the band's third album, and its first to chart, the aforementioned The Whippoorwill. Dave Simpson of The Guardian rated the album 4 out of 5 stars and wrote, these are songs in which people dance with the devil and sleeping dogs lie, and where locals fall from grace in one-horse towns, all delivered with the equally familiar chug of Southern Fried Boogie and Leonard Skinner. Blackberry are as original as a theme pub, but their slide guitars, tinkling pianos, churning riffs, and perfectly crafted songs are delivered with the unusual passion as the moonshine-voiced singer manages to invest in well-worn sentiments with a convincing sense of yearning. Over at American songwriter Hal Horowitz reviewed the album and wrote, "This Atlanta quintet with their long hair, scraggly beards, and tough twang both looks and sound the part for the cliched, hard-drinking, hard-loving, hard-living good old boys they probably are. But this, their third album, and first for Zach Brown's homespun label, shows the band to be deeper than just whiskey-guzzling rockers with twangy guitars and bad attitudes. Frontman and guitarist Charlie Starr shows a spirited sense of humor in the anti-blues lyrics of Ain't Got the Blues, and can write truly moving tunes like the dead-end prospects of the protagonist in One Horse Town. Brandon Still's keyboards bring soul to the sound, especially on the lovely title track, and Crimson Moon is a riveting riff rocker worthy of Government Mule. The group raises a ruckus, but never at the expense of lyrics that are sharp and sing-along worthy." And C. Michael Bailey of the music reviewing website All About Jazz reviewed the album and wrote, "The Whippoorwill sports some of the best country lyrics best country lyric writing in recent memory. Country music took over the clever lyrics category when Tin Pan Alley and Broadway breathed their last popular music breath in the 1960s. But for every illegal smile or she's crazy for leaving, there are 100. If I said you had a beautiful body, would you hold it against me? So truly great lyric writing remains elusive and very much a demanding discipline. Blackberry Smoke went through a rapid evolution on its first two recordings, admitting in an interview that it was just staging positions on the way to the Whippoorwill, a lyrically conceived album with a deep South soul. Adding musically, the band is very much its own influence. Sure, the Allman Brothers leave their mark, but Smoke's major thrust is country music of the Jimmy Rogers sort. Had Rogers played an overdriven Telecaster with a hard rhythm section, the double barrel attack of guitarist vocalist Charlie Starr and Paul Jackson, affecting a harmony circa Jagger Richards 1972 with a twin guitar attack that is not so much Allman Betts as well Starr Jackson. Brad Paisley and Keith Urban can only hope to play this brand of country guitar. Brandon Still's keyboards are not those of the Black Crowes' Eddie Harsh's take on the Faces' Ian McLagan. Is that right, McLagan? From the Faces?
McLaughlin, I would say.
Yeah, okay. Forgive me. Ian McLaughlin. But that of Jerry Lee Lewis by way of Leonard Skinner's Billy Powell, pounding out Call Me the Breeze. This band is the total package. So, into these lyrics. Well, I'm not trying to get in the way. Minding my own. Got nothing to say. Ain't nobody. That's right, nobody. Don't shake my tree. Don't rattle my cage. You and me will be on the same page. I know trouble. Don't make no trouble. Yeah, you better let the sleeping dogs lie, 'cause soon you're gonna understand why. Hey, you're gonna get bit right between the eyes. Well, let me tell you how it all went down. Funky little joint on the edge of town. Call a punch pump. Oh, wait, it had too much. Well, push come to shove, and my came to blows. Spill some blood and broke his nose. Yes, I had to do it. Mama, that's all it was to it. Now you better let the sleeping dogs lie, 'cause soon as you're gonna understand why, and you're gonna get bit right between the eyes. Said you best let sleeping dogs lie. Come on, yeah, ha. Make no mistake, let there be no doubt. Paint me in the corner, I'll fight my way out. The more I love a story, brother, this is it. I'll be all over you like stink on shit. And you better let the sleeping dogs lie. Soon as you're gonna understand why. Hey, you're gonna get bit right between the eyes. If you don't, you let the sleeping dogs lie. You better let the sleeping dogs lie, 'cause soon you're gonna understand why. Hey, you're gonna get bit right between the eyes. Said you better let us sleeping dogs lie. So, in an interview with Louder Sound, Charlie Starr would provide a little context for this narrative. Well, the last bar brawl was probably in 2001 or 2002, and I went to the hospital and got stitches. It was ugly. That was a tiny little bar in Georgia, and it was a 2-night stand. We were playing 4 sets a night. We were just a band earning our stripes at that point. It was a big, nasty fight. There was a misunderstanding on the first night, if you will, and Britt wound up jumping on this dude at the bar who was hitting on his girlfriend at the time, who's now his wife. How did it end? Well, that all ended up well enough. The guy was taken out, and then the next night he showed up with 5 or 6 of his friends, and then they jumped on all of us. It was a bar-clearing brawl, and we got fired from the gig. I wrote a song about that whole incident on the Whippoorwill called Sleeping Dogs. A funny thing about writing songs in poetic license is that you can write in the song that you won the fight, but that one was bad. We were lucky nobody got killed. So it was inspired by true events that, perhaps the true outcome of it was less, of this bravado about being a sleeping dog and being more like, phew, thank God I made it out of there with all these stitches. But yeah, you're right. Roadhouse scenes just start flashing through your head. Broken bottles on the bar top, some pool cues being broken over knees and swung at people. All that charming shit that you get with this kind of atmosphere.
course, they remade Roadhouse, didn't they,
Yes.
with Donnie Darko in it? Yeah.
Yes, and Conor McGregor, everyone's favorite.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Jesus Christ.
I know, I know. I didn't even watch it. I saw that it was who was cast, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna set this one out. I'll just rewatch the old one if I get a yearn for some of that stuff. So yeah, I'm really glad you like this. I'm sure I'll bring more of these guys to the channel later in the year. Go on.
I was just thinking the original Roadhouse film. Sorry, hung up on that. Didn't it have Jeff Healey band played on that as well? Didn't they? I think he was
Yeah.
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 Again, another great sort of yeah. Anyway,
Exactly. Cool. All right. Well, mental note. I'll bring some more of these guys, and I'll try to find some Government Mule or Warren Haynes stuff that I can bring to the channel as well. But I'm really glad that you like this as much as you did, John. Thank you so much for giving it a go. And guys out there in the listening audience, please let us know what you think of Blackberry Smoke and this track Sleeping Dogs. If you're a fan and there's some other particular tracks by them you would like to hear, please feel free to shout them down in the comments field below. We love hearing your guys' recommendations and thoughts on the stuff that we bring to the channel, so thank you in advance for that. Also, a little thank you in advance if you would please like, share, and or subscribe as a result of watching this episode. We really do appreciate it. We're always trying to, drum up the numbers here and help our channel with the algorithm gods here at YouTube. So thank you so much, and hopefully John and I will catch all y'all in growing numbers on the next installment of the Audiophiles. We'll see you later, guys.